This is going to be my second look at some inside linebacker play, some of the fundamental things that you see inside linebackers doing. There'll be a couple of bad examples. I shouldn't say bad examples. There'll be a couple of examples of linebackers getting beat in coverage. I'm going to present you with some zone coverage schemes and techniques that the linebackers use. I'm going to show a couple of man coverage schemes. You'll see a screen here right in the beginning. I had done one of these about a week ago, showing some run reads by inside linebackers in the NFL. I contend that the inside linebacker position is one of the most difficult to play at any level of football. You have to be able to come forward at the correct angle, end up in the correct gap at the correct time on a run play, run concepts. You have to be able to drop back, cover a zone after getting a pass read from either a offensive lineman, an H-back, or in some cases a running back, or if they're reading quarterback, which happens sometimes. On play action concepts, you have to be able to make yourself right. If you've read run and it's play action, you have to be able to get back into your zone or your coverage responsibility. Not many positions are asked to do everything an inside linebacker is asked to do. That's why I push back on and reject the term undervalued. I know that it's generally referencing the salary structure, which is fine, but I think that I'm not the one who needs to present a caveat in saying that it's not undervalued. Someone who says inside linebackers are undervalued, they or you need to present the caveat in saying, I'm talking about monetary structure, salary structure, not actual impact on the field. Because an inside linebacker, a great inside linebacker, or two very good ones, has the ability to impact the run and the pass game equally, and that's a rare thing, unless you're talking about strong safeties or nickel safeties, guys who can come forward on run reads and can play deep halves or nickel safety positions. I think inside linebacker is an underrated and underappreciated position in this day and age. First play we're going to look at, Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints. Going to be a screen by the Patriots. I think this is early in the season. I believe week 3. Could be wrong. He's already got his read. Look how quickly he's identified it. He's already got his read. He is gone. No one else is set up on this read. You'll get the end zone angle here. The nickel safety, which is coming into your screen now with the motion, he does identify it, but not nearly as quickly as Demario Davis does. He has already read screen now. He's going to put his foot in the ground, plant, point, and burst, run at the correct angle, make the tackle on the outside shoulder. Beautiful football play. I'm going to try to use film from multiple games, but I did end up with a lot from the Steelers and Raiders game in week 2, and I'm not sure why. Robert Spillane, this is a concept that pretty much everyone in the NFL is running now. I'll let it run one time through and then pull it back, kind of explain it. You see the angle that he takes inside out. He knows he's got help from number 20, the outside corner. Everyone's using this, not just in the NFL, high-level college football, high school. Everyone's using this concept now where they've got bunch or tight trips, and then the back on that side, I call it A-gun, and they'll oftentimes leave the D-end unblocked, but they're not reading him in some cases. They're actually reading the inside linebacker, because you'll get run action this way, away from the bunch or the trips, and then you'll get, maybe a bubble by 3, and these two guys leading out to block. So that in this specific example, leaving this D-end or outside linebacker unblocked doesn't kind of matter what he does. What matters is what Spillane does. I think Spillane kind of sits on this, and you see a lot of inside linebackers play it this way, and then just wait and react, see the football, and go. Numbers-wise, this is 3-on-3. You got ball carrier, 2 blockers versus 3 defenders. Thankfully, Spillane is able to be there because the outside linebacker, or D-end, as you'll see from the end zone angle, you didn't see it here, that outside linebacker rushes for the quarterback. Great angle, great pursuit, recognition. I think he's reading quarterback there. You're not always going to read quarterback at inside linebacker, but underrated play by an underrated player. Another severely underrated player. You guys that have watched this channel know what I think of this guy. Josh Bynes wasn't on the field on the previous play, which I believe was a second down. This is a 3rd and 7. He comes on the field, and he is giving instruction to the players as they walk on the field. He's giving instruction now. about who should be on the field. He tries to move Chris Board over, and he's got multiple routes developing in front of him and behind him, and nearly makes an interception. I'm going to break this one down twice, to be honest with you. He's got a route going past him, which is a tight end. I think it's Cook. He's got a route going underneath of him. And then the real route that Justin Herbert is trying to attack with is coming from the other side. So you can see what's happening here is essentially you got an over and an under concept in front of the linebacker level. Many linebackers would take this under, or they would just stare at the quarterback and be manipulated by him. When you get the end zone angle, you will see Josh Bynes is looking at the quarterback initially. But he has high beams and low beams in terms of his eyes. He's able to see the quarterback and then also see the route developing in front of him, going across from left to right. Now watch what he does next, and this is the classic inside linebacker play. This is the way you should play it. You should always let the guy pass underneath and then look for work from the other side. That's the concepts you're generally going to see. You know, we're talking about a 3rd and 7, but in a play action, essentially this is similar to play action when you have a run threat here and then an over threat coming back in the other direction. And you'll see 2 examples of that and how inside linebackers, really well-trained, disciplined inside linebackers play it. And Josh Bynes, unfortunately, doesn't get the pick here. Makes a hell of a play on a 3rd and 7. Really energized the football team in Week 7 against the Chargers there. Another one from Spillane. It's going to be a zone drop. He's got the free safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick, drop down into the box near him. You can see they just communicated something to each other. I don't know what they said, obviously, but they just communicated something. And Waller is looking at Spillane as he runs this little short route. He's waiting for Spillane to move in this direction, and then he's going to put his foot in the ground and go the other way. So it is a short completion, but Robert Spillane plays it well, especially against an athlete as good as Darren Waller. This one is an interesting play. You have the Mike linebacker, 52. Momentarily, I forgot his name. He's going to line up at the line of scrimmage and then drop back. You get a short drag from the other side of the field. The force, it really looks like a weird version of cover 3. If I'll pause it for a moment. When I say weird version, you don't have any width with these two. If you want to call this a cover 3, and certainly this corner and this corner are taking zone turns. Okay, zone turn, you know, your butt or your back facing the sideline, and your helmet and your chest facing the inside of the middle of the field. You got an under route here, and this linebacker is going to drive on it and make a nice tackle. 39 is unable to finish the play momentarily, but he at least forced him inside. One thing you tell guys all the time, like, hey, if you're going to miss the tackle, you got to miss it on this side or that side, whatever your leverage side is. So you can see 39, who's a pretty good football player. I think he's a really young guy. Misses the tackle, but forces him back inside to 52. Another play from that game, like I said, I'm going to show multiple examples. This is kind of one that's interesting. You got a dime look, so you don't have an inside linebacker on the field. Now, am I saying that an inside linebacker will be able to stop this play? No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is it's, you know, people fault inside linebackers sometimes for pass coverage and say, oh, those guys aren't good in pass coverage. Well, you have a 3rd down here, and it's a great route by Renfro, a great throw by Carr. But there's certainly times where you put a dime package on the field. There's only one inside linebacker on the field right now. It's Joe Schobert, who apparently has a real great reputation as a pass defender. I saw some inconsistencies this year. But back to my point, just putting more DBs on the field, putting more safeties on the field, nickel defensive backs on the field, doesn't solve all the problems. Playing the second level as a pass dropper is not easy to do. It's not. This looks like another version of cover 3, and I don't think they play it well. They let this guy run right up the seam. It's a great catch by Renfro, obviously. All right, 2 examples of play action over concepts. That's Donta Hightower for the Patriots. If you've watched this channel at all, you know my affinity that I have for him and how he's played throughout his career. You're going to get an over concept off the play action. So Hightower is going to do he's going to get the wrong read. When you get the wrong read, which he doesn't really overcommit at all, I mean, you can see the back is here. Hightower saw that it was not run into that side. You've got to turn your back, and you've got to identify the route coming from the side of the field where the running back was going, and then get in that window. Now, this ball's overthrown. Now, I'm not saying that Donta Hightower forces the overthrow, but he's definitely the quarterback, Jameis Winston, is definitely not able to underthrow this. What I mean by that is you do have a DB playing underneath, appears to be in trail. So obviously that's a factor. Let's just say for a moment that this DB is behind and underneath. Jameis Winston can drop this ball low and let the receiver run onto it. It's well defended by this DB and by Donta Hightower. Hopefully you would agree. I'm going to revisit one more thing that I mentioned briefly. If you get the right read and you're playing zone, you immediately open and get out to your 45 if it's zone. If your area is, hook to curl or curl flat, whatever. If you get the wrong read, you have to turn your back because now you've lost these steps because you came forward when you did not need to because it's a pass play. We still need you here, bro. So you can't open your hip at a 45 and get out there. You've got to turn your back and run. And Hightower is able to identify the route, get a beautiful play, underrated football player. Another example of this, I think this is Benny Cunningham from the Tennessee Titans against the 49ers. This is a real great game. A lot of cool plays from this. Same concept as what I gave you on the last play. Run concept to the offense's left, defense's right. You're going to get a hide route by the inside receiver. He kind of gets jammed up. And then the over route here. Now the over route isn't thrown. It's not completed because the hide route is wide open. But watch what Cunningham does to the receiver. Maybe you missed it. And if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, that's contact downfield, like, I'm not sure that we can talk football to each other. I mean, that's football. That's basket. Playing defensive football, playing defensive basketball is about getting your hands on people, making people uncomfortable. That's great defense. Impeding his route. Now, this guy's wide open and nobody's on him. Right? So they got other issues. But Cunningham plays that well, if you ask me, at least identifying the route. I'm not going to talk about his hustle, once he jammed the guy because he seemed to gear down. End zone angle. There's the play action fake. Cunningham's face mask is looking back here, so he sees that it's not it's not being given to the running back. Makes contact with Deebo Samuel coming across the field. Beautiful play. That's what you want your guys to do. Not every kid can do it. At this level, obviously, you expect inside linebackers to do it. Ravens, it's generally a Ravens fan channel. I'm a Ravens fan. Ravens young inside linebackers in 2020 really had trouble with that. Had trouble with it again in 2021 until Josh Bynes showed up. Once Josh Bynes showed up, we solved that issue for whatever reason. All right, now some man stuff. Demario Davis going to be man-to-man on this running back. Just going to run out to the flats. And it's tough, man. You get this running back who's got a two-way go. Sometimes you want to give him a leverage side. But you don't want to give him an easy leverage side. So what I mean is you see that Davis is squared and he's on his inside hip by a yard. That's what we would teach too. Give him a side and then go ahead and make your break. You got to be able to break once the ball is thrown, and Davis has got that athleticism, got that burst. You don't want to be even with him sometimes because now he's got a two-way go. You want to give him a leverage side and then go ahead and burst on that. And sometimes, the guy gives you a little fake and brings it back to the inside. We call it a zig route and beats you over the middle. That's what you don't want. All right, Joe Schobert, again, is a guy who's got a great reputation as a pass coverage guy. This is man. Darren Waller's going to go in motion. The Raiders are unable to get him the football. Another aspect of this is a schemed up play, by the way. Another aspect of this is that the number one receiver over here is essentially running a clear out route, getting that corner and the safety out of the way by running, up in between the hashes. You got 4 sets of hashes there because there's a college football game earlier that weekend. You can see that Waller is even right now with Schobert. So if the ball was able to be thrown, down the football field along the sideline, Waller's probably got him beat. And they did come back to this concept later on, but they got a sack. Prevented it. Schobert in coverage again. Actually, Schobert and Robert Spillane are lined up over top of Foster Moreau. But I think Spillane's going to blitz, or he's got the back. That's the route Moreau's going to run, essentially a corner route, fade corner, whatever you want to call it. Schobert gets zero help from this safety who's kind of stuck in quicksand. Better player than he shows on this play. Really difficult route for an inside linebacker to defend. You can see Foster Moreau, big touchdown catch. The Raiders got a big win, that week, starting off the season 2-0 before their season, really collapsed for a lot of reasons. Schobert again, down here, bottom side of the screen. He's going to be in man against Kenyon Drake. It's a tough cover. Derek Carr actually gets outside of the pocket on this And Chaubert has a decision to make, and he makes the right one. Stay with the guy that I'm assigned to cover. But we'll let it run back so you can see it. He gets outside the pocket, and if you're a man, you stay on your man. You stay with your man. Don't leave him attack the quarterback and then give up a huge play. You want to make the quarterback run. Now, there's certain guys, certain quarterbacks. We have one for the Ravens that maybe those rules don't apply to. What exactly am I trying to do with this series? Just give you guys a look at some of the things that NFL linebackers are expected to do: play zone, play man, attack on screens. I haven't stopped to really explain how difficult some of it is. I think that's should be kind of understood. You see the conflict that guys are put in, particularly on those play action plays that I showed you, made by Hightower and Cunningham for the Titans. Man-to-man coverage on a running back, extremely difficult to do. The speed and agility advantage that the running backs have should be obvious to anyone. One of the things I have contended, and maybe I need to do a separate video on this because this one's gone on a little long, is I believe that sometimes high-level college teams and NFL teams play too many coverages. They play too many coverages, and guys blow coverages because they've got 6, 7 different coverages installed for that game, and they're checking in and out of coverages pre-snap. And an inside linebacker has got two widely different or disparate jobs to do in the two coverages. Let's talk about man versus zone, and they'll blow a coverage occasionally. They're certainly not the only ones to do it. Safeties and corners do it all the time. Hope you enjoy these kind of videos. I will be doing this during the season. There was some good feedback, positive feedback from the first one I did. I think I'm going to move on to safeties next. Probably nickel safeties, to be honest with you, and do a couple of those videos prior to training camp started. Try to get a couple of these out on film. Let me know what you guys think of the video, what you think of some of my thoughts about inside linebacker play. If you can't tell, I was an inside linebacker coach. That's why I'm defensive about them, and that's why there are times where probably I give the guy, a part of me wants to give the guy the benefit of the doubt in terms of understanding the conflict that he's being put in on a particular play and how well-designed offensive schemes really make it difficult for those guys to know where to fit on run plays and then react and get into correct pass responsibility. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing so. Appreciate you guys checking the video out. Let me know what you think of this video in the comment section, please.